Viewers, welcome back to Daily Retro. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different for my channel. I haven't actually given you guys a sort of collection overview of what is in my collection. As some of you may or may not know, earlier this year I sort of completed my childhood game collection, including sort of consoles, games and other accessories and things like that. But I've not actually gone through and done what I've got in my collection. I've done game room tours obviously, but that is very brief overview of everything, quite sort of high level, and sort of want to bring it down to a sort of low level for you guys, because after all it's daily retro. I want to keep things retro as if I can. Not had that much time to do different videos recently, but now the little one's in his own room, sort of got a bit more time in the evenings, which is great. So without further ado, we're going to get into a overview of my Mega Drive collection. So my Mega Drive was the first home console I ever owned. My original one is up there. Recently had it recapped. Plays like new, which is awesome. But yeah, didn't have this many games when I was a child obviously, but I either had some exposure to them or wanted them as a child. But yeah, so it's not the biggest collection. I'm sort of guessing it's going to be about 30-ish games, maybe a little bit less. And then I've got a couple of, I know it's not Mega Drive, but Master System titles, which I'll explain why at the end. So straight off is the game that everyone knows, Sonic the Hedgehog 1. This was my favourite game as a child. Incredible speed on this title, but that doesn't really need any introduction. And then the rest of them I didn't actually have any exposure to as a child, but I did play them at friends or sort of see them and want them. So there's obviously the whole sort of Sonic collection. So Sonic 2, I'm just going to whiz through these because it's obviously obvious what's coming up. There's Sonic 3, which I only picked up fairly recently, to be honest, but all in very nice condition. Sonic and Knuckles in the actual cardboard. As you can see, it's got a nice box protector on. I found out from Retro Gamer Boy Mike that SNES box protector it fits this one perfectly. So a little hint there for you guys. Really nice to keep it nice and minty. And then we've got Sonic Spinball, just a nice little pinball game. And lastly, on the Sonic front, there is Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, which I didn't even know existed until I saw it at Vermilion Gaming Market, not this year but last year. It's actually a pretty fun sort of multiplayer Puyo Puyo Tetris style game. Yeah, I'm enjoying the thought of showing all these games to Caden when he's a bit older. Yeah, that will give me some real joy being able to play some of the, especially the multiplayer titles with him. This was definitely my favourite shooter as a child. Don't know if you can really call it a shooter as such, but Smash TV, what a game! I think I was playing it on a PlayStation 1 potentially when I was younger at a friend's house, but obviously this is older and had to get it in the collection. And then only one of these is one of the games I actually owned as a child, so that is Rise of the Machines. If you don't know this game, it's pretty terrible, to be honest, but as a child it was my only fighting game I owned. You can actually complete the whole game by doing low kicks, which is pretty hilarious, to be honest. But one I remember nonetheless, so I can't bring myself to get rid of it. And then I've got Streets of Rage. This is a title I only really remember from the arcades. Yeah, I only picked this up in the last couple of years, but it's such a fun multiplayer title. Not actually got the second or third one yet. I don't really feel the need to, but maybe someday. So next up, we've got one of my favourite sort of Mega Drive games as a whole, and that is Zombies, or Zombies Ate My Neighbours in America. This is honestly one of the most fun sort of arcade top-down shooters ever, in my opinion. You'll see reference to it in Shaun of the Dead, the film, where they use the trampolines to jump over the fences. That is a level in this game. It did actually go up quite a lot value-wise during COVID. It was quite strange. It went up to about 75 quid, which I thought was incredible. It's definitely not worth that. It's probably worth 30-40 pounds. But yeah, I love this game. Me and the wife only sort of get to about level 9, maybe 10 now, but you definitely need to sink time in it to really get high on the level front. So about a third of the way through, I think. So the next one is one that actually got recommended to me by a friend that I've not really played much of yet, and that is Desert Strike. From what I can tell, it's just a really fun sort of top-down 3D-ish military game, a bit like Command and Conquer style view. But yeah, apparently it's incredibly hard, so yeah, I've not had the time to sink into that yet, but I can't wait until I do. So this next one is a shoot 'em up that really appealed to me when I saw it on YouTube. I can't remember who showed it me first, but that is Hellfire. So Hellfire has sort of quite a unique side-scrolling shoot 'em up style, where you can sort of change your direction of fire. I think there's 4 different ways, possibly more. But yeah, really fun R-type style game. And I think I picked it up during COVID, so it was actually quite expensive at the time. I think it was about 40 quid, but it's usually about 25-ish. But it was still worth it in my opinion, because it's such a good game. And then, so these next two are definitely games from my childhood. I've talked about this a lot in my past videos, and that is the original Micro Machines. So friends of mine used to come around my house after school sometimes and play me at this on multiplayer, and annoyingly I would usually win. But yeah, they had PlayStation 1s and they still wanted to play this game. That does tell you something about how good a racing game this is. And obviously that then led me on to wanting Micro Machines 2, which is obviously very similar, but a few more cars, a few more maps, things like that. And has the actual 4-player cartridge. I don't know if you can see it very clearly on there, but it does actually come with the one I have bought. It came with these party inserts, so I should send these out someday, shouldn't I? Get someone round for a tournament. But yeah, really pleased to have that in the collection. And I've not actually used the actual 3 or 4-player functionality of it yet. But maybe one day. Obviously when Caden's old enough, it will definitely be 3-player. So next up is NBA Jam. Again, this was recommended to me by a friend many years ago now. One of the first games I sort of picked up as an adult for the Mega Drive. Incredible arcade title. I didn't know till recently that the AI in this game, they change based on how you're playing against them. So it's sort of intelligent AI, which I thought was really cool to learn about. So that the games actually seem closer than they are. So in the last sort of few seconds of the game, it can be ultra tight because the computer will continuously keep the game close, unless you're incredible at it, obviously. But yeah, amazing basketball game. Next up is definitely my favourite football game, or soccer, as you can guess. Sensible Soccer. Such a good 2D game. What actually made me aware of this game was, I think it was Russell Howard, the comedian. He sort of did a sketch where he was talking about playing it with his brother, and he didn't want his mum to know, so he said he would sort of say to his brother, "Are you feeling sensible?" And then they'd go upstairs and play this, which I thought was hilarious. Obviously the mama was none to know sort of thing. And then we've got a few more sports titles. They are in fairly genre order my games. So I've got European Club Soccer. Not an incredible football game, but it is pretty decent as football games go on the Mega Drive. Sort of 3D-ish, and yeah, I really sunk a lot of time into this as a kid. That leads me on to the next game, which was FIFA International Soccer. I was amazed. I know this is a cheap game, but I was amazed recently. I picked this up for 99p on eBay, and it is immaculate. There's not even any slight tearing or hang tab use. The hang tab is actually really stiff, so it's literally like it's never ever been used until I tested it, which is awesome. And then this is a game I got thoroughly frustrated with as a child. PGA European Tour. So I do like my golf games now, but this game made me hate golf games when I was younger. And I don't really want to say any more than that because I just go off on a rant about that one. And then we've got NHL Hockey 94. So as some of you may know, I'm massively into my ice hockey. My wife plays a lot of ice hockey, or used to before the baby came along, just for an amateur team. But I love watching and playing, well, watching ice hockey and playing ice hockey games. So yeah, I had to pick that one up when I saw it on the shelf. Apparently NHL Hockey 94 is the best sort of yearly version. After that they got a bit more complicated and not as arcadey, if that makes sense. A bit like what's happening to the modern NHL games. I just don't touch them with a barge pole anymore. My favourite ice hockey game is probably NHL Hits, and that's on the GameCube. But yeah, incredible title, and I think I might be right in saying it has up to 4 players, where you can sort of use one controller, but I could be wrong on that. You might need the sort of Mega Drive 4-player adapter to be able to do that, which again is something I didn't even know existed until recently. So the last little pile. So most of these are games that I've picked up in the last year or so. This was in my last pickup video, so I won't talk about it too much. Nhl Hockey, another ice hockey title. EA Hockey, which I talked about recently, got it for £1 at my local shop. And, well, this game is hilarious. Eternal Champions. This was sort of the Mega Drive Street Fighter style contender at the time. It's got like a turbo mode where the speed of the game is just insane. A good friend of mine, who was my best man at my wedding, he was absolutely obsessed with this game, so I had to get it physical just so when he comes around we can play it together. And usually actually kicks my ass on it, but it's hilarious because it's just, like I said, the games are over in literally seconds if you're not prepared. But yeah, I love that one. So I'll probably keep the childhood ones till last, just because one of them is very special to me. But next up we've got Lemmings. I think I had this as a child, but I sold it fairly quickly to get something else. Yeah, really interesting puzzle game. Just when I was younger, it was quite a frustrating game when you got into the higher levels. I don't think it had save functionality, so obviously you had to go back quite far, and it would take a long time to sort of progress the levels, which is why it was frustrating as a kid, as I remember it anyway. So 3 more to go. Marble Madness next. This is definitely one me and my brother played a lot against each other on. Absolutely mad game. It really doesn't seem like much, but if you've not played it, you've got to play it multiplayer. Absolutely hilarious, and it will really make you irate if you lose. Penultimately is probably my second favourite platformer other than Sonic games on the Mega Drive, and that is Batman, the original Batman. I actually found it quite tricky to find this game. Eventually got it off Sean from Pompey Games Room for a really good price. It's quite a difficult platformer. I'd say the bosses do get quite difficult after about level 3. But yeah, a really good platformer, and it definitely, graphics wise, looks like it's ahead of its time, which kept drawing me back in when I was a child when playing this lots and lots. And then lastly, well, the Mega Drive side of things anyway, this game is very close to my heart because it was my first ever sort of proper experience of an RPG game. So that is Sword of Vermilion. So it's a good RPG. Has really good boss battles. It is turn-based, I think, during the combat, very Final Fantasy-esque. But yeah, at the time when I was playing this was probably the first game I had with save, so that was mind-blowing. Even though this is probably early 2000s I'm talking about. Yeah, we weren't ahead of our time in our household. But yeah, this probably started my love for RPGs now, which I'm absolutely obsessed with, as most of you know. And yeah, this is my childhood copy, and yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world because it started a whole line of gaming for me. Yeah, I love it. And then finally, even though this is a Mega Drive video, we're just gonna, as I've only got 2 Master System titles, we're gonna talk about those. So I only generally pick up Master System titles now if they are arcade ports. So arcade ports, what I mean by that is they were made for the arcade and then ported over to a console. I think I'm right in saying these were not released on the Mega Drive either. So that's what I generally look for on the Master System titles. So we've got Gauntlet, which is obviously a great top-down multiplayer hack and slash. Yeah, obviously a very classical arcade game that had a 4-player control set. But yeah, one I absolutely love and had to get it in the collection just because you can't get it on the Mega Drive. Simple as that. And then lastly is a game I've actually already mentioned in this video, so that is R-Type. Very difficult game, as Retro Bear will tell you. I don't think he's ever got past level 1. I've only got to level 2. I haven't sunk enough time in it to get any further, to be honest. I only picked it up last year, but had it on an emulator for a while, but always wanted a physical copy, so last year I sort of took the plunge. Not a mega expensive game, maybe 20 quid-ish. But yeah, I do enjoy it, and I would like to sink more time into it, so I can get a lot further in that. Obviously, it's not as advanced as, say, Hellfire, but yeah, it's a cult title, so I had to have it, and as I say, only on the Master System. Don't actually have a Master System, as some of you may know. I have the Mega SG by Analog, but they have a Master System adapter as standard with that console, so I can play them all upscaled to HDMI 1080p output. So yeah, I really enjoy playing all of these games in that way. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this collection video, guys. Something I've not really done before. Let me know how I did. There's going to be more of these style videos. I'm hoping to do my N64 collection next, or possibly Game Boy. So I've got a lot for those cartridge-based systems. And then yeah, eventually I'll sort of progress through the timelines to get to modern day, as there is a lot to go through. And yeah, I really want to get this out there because, like I said, this is at a point in my collection now where I think I've got everything I used to have or want. So yeah, it's a good time to do it while it's fresh in my mind. Alright, cheers for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you very soon for another collection video. Cheers.